I'm Mike.
And I'm Adam.
And this is Stuff and Waffle. Two friends talking about stuff, and often as not, waffling with frequent reference to Bond cars.
Howdy, welcome, son. We've been expecting you.
It's a bold start.
It is.
I like it. You went for it, and I approve.
Yes. Oh, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
Only the real hardcore nerds will understand what that was. But this week is our capsule review of the 7th James Bond film, Diamonds Are Forever. Yes.
We said this was going to be our next one, and we're sticking to our guns.
We are sticking to our guns. It's one of our favourites, if I'm honest. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I would say we don't have a bad word to say about it, but we've not done the review yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
No,
I do love it, but it does have some issues.
Yeah. I mean, all right. Maybe we should start on one of the cons.
Yes.
Mr. Connery was not giving it heart and soul, if I'm honest.
No, I think that's fairly obvious, isn't it? All the way through, he really wasn't. He was there for the money, wasn't he? I mean, this, for context, this film followed On Her Majesty's Secret Service, starring George Lazenby. There was, I think, a certain amount of panic in the studio following that film. And they basically threw money at Connery until he agreed to come back and do another one.
Yes.
That's about the size of it, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, when you say it, you go, it followed On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and you go, the difference between...
It's almost hard to believe, isn't it? It's such a stark difference in style.
It's weird. And go, oh, there's only 2 years difference. Like, what?
I know. It's like you're watching a different film series. It's bizarre.
It's really weird. Because the tone was massively different. Because On Her Majesty's Secret Service was quite gritty.
Quite gritty, quite dark in places.
Yeah, it lent heavily on the reality of things. Rather than the fantasy of things.
No real gadgetry or anything like that. It was incredibly tight to the book.
I mean, and then we get to Diamonds Are Forever, and you could
what?
You could be fooled into thinking, Connery seems to have been cast in a Roger Moore film.
Yeah, it's so different, isn't it? It's such a, and then now I know that was a deliberate effort because they were, On Her Majesty's Secret Service at the time hadn't worked. They didn't think. I mean, it took a long time to get to where it is now. It's almost brushed under the carpet, isn't it? In the pre-title sequence of Diamonds, they have Bond searching for Blofeld around the world, and then he finds him and he does him in, and that's that all dealt with. That's that storyline all tied up. But I've always thought you could watch You Only Live Twice, skip over On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and then watch Diamonds, and it would still kind of make sense.
Yeah, and I get the feeling that, well, we know for a good number of years, if not decades, that was the case.
That was the case. On Her Majesty's Secret Service wasn't in the VHS collection you could buy for years and years and years.
I think we had to get to sort of mid to late 90s before it was allowed into the set.
Before people started to kind of revisit it and say, actually, this is pretty good. It took a long time. Certainly, United Artists did nothing to promote it, and they almost wanted to try and forget about it. It's like, no, we didn't really do that one. And the return to the more fantastical kind of style of Goldfinger, they even bring the Goldfinger director, Guy Hamilton, back for this one. Set it in America. They even filmed a lot of it at Universal in Los Angeles. It wasn't based at Pinewood. They did bits and pieces at Pinewood, but the bulk of the photography was done at Universal, and on location in Las Vegas.
Yes,
and you will come on to that. And I think they were scared. They were really worried that they had fatally wounded the franchise with Lazenby.
Yeah, that was it. They'd got themselves a recipe book and went, right, we're going to get all of what we deem to be the best ingredients and throw them all in.
I think United Artists looked at it and said, right, which was the most successful Bond film so far? Right, Goldfinger. Let's do another Goldfinger. In fact, I believe in the original draft of the Diamonds Are Forever script written by Richard Maybaum, the villain was to be Goldfinger's twin brother.
That's a bit on the nose, isn't it?
That was the original concept that they came up with. And they were going to film it all in America. In fact, they had actually got an American actor who was going to play Bond. John Gavin, he was called.
That was it, yes.
He was in Psycho. He played boyfriend in Psycho.
Yep.
And they also, I believe, talked to Adam West, who was, of course, the original Batman. They were very keen to make it a very American Bond because they wanted the American market. On Her Majesty's Secret Service had not done well in America on its release. And they wanted to try and recapture the American market. So they were going to film it all in America. They were going to have an American actor. And it was going to be in a very American movie. But Cubby and Harry, I believe, actually signed John Gavin to play the role. He was going to do it. He was all set to do it. That, and but United Artists at the last minute said, no, we want Sean. We want you to get Sean back. Offer him whatever he wants. Whatever figure he comes up with, we will pay it. Just send someone to ask him and get him back. And I believe he was paid at the time the highest fee ever paid to an actor.
Yeah, it was a record-breaking one. I believe it was $1.25 million.
It was $1.25 million to come back. Plus, they would make any two films that he wanted to make.
Oh, that was it.
They would finance and distribute any two movies he wanted to do.
Which is correct, but it only ended up being one film, as we've discussed before.
Yes, The Offence. Yes, indeed, which kind of really didn't do very well at all. And I don't know why the second one was never done. Maybe he agreed something with them later on, but I don't know about that. But $1.25 million, which in 1970 was just a colossal amount of money.
Yeah, it's off the chart, that, isn't it?
It is. And that was the reason he did it. But to his credit, he gave all that money away. He didn't keep a penny of it.
Yeah.
Gave it all to charity, to his Scottish education charity that he'd set up a few years previously. That did very well. But it was an incredible sum of money. But there he was. They got him back. I believe Cubby insisted that John Gavin's contract be paid in full as well, even though he never actually did any work.
I think it was all kind of signed and sealed, wasn't it? So
it was.
It was very much pay it or be sued.
Yes, they had to buy him out of his contract. So Diamonds Are Forever was a very expensive film, but for the first time, not all the budget went up on screen because they were paying people. As you say, Connery is not exactly giving it his best work, I don't think.
No, he's not. It's simple as it is a payday for him. That is the only thing he's there for. But that's not to say it's a poor performance. It's just not heart and soul.
Yeah, indeed. He's not terrible, but it's a little bit lazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not never say never again. Come on.
No, no. Take another few decades for him to sink down to that.
Yeah.
But he's clearly not giving it his all. But then, the script it's not a bad script, but it got redrafted a few times because Richard Maybaum's original script was written around the Goldfinger's twin brother thing. Then when Connery was coming back, they wanted to draft it again, more tailored towards him. So Tom Mankiewicz came in and redrafted it again, and went with the whole Willard White Blofeld storyline. And of course, it was Mr. Willard White I was doing at the beginning there.
Well, were you?
I think well, see, that's a good question, isn't it? Yes. In fact, it wasn't.
No.
No.
It was a cheeky bit of Blofeld with his voice changing malarkey.
It was, yeah.
You mentioned at the beginning with the pre-title sequence with the hunt down Blofeld and lob him in the
one chance. Where can I find him? Yes.
Lob him in the hot gunk.
Oh yeah.
Still don't know what that was about, to be honest.
It's a very strange sequence, that really.
But that was my point of going. That pre-title sequence is disjointed, to say the least.
Yeah, it's weird. Isn't it? It's weird. It's badly edited.
Awful.
You don't see what's going on. The voiceover doesn't seem to quite fit the action.
No, it's really weird. I can't put my finger on it, but every time you watch it and going, what have they done here?
What am I watching? I know, it's really odd. Really odd. It's such a clumsy way of dealing with what was such a powerful story in the previous film. Now I know my mind's just gone blank. The director of On Her Majesty's Secret Service,
Peter Hunt.
Peter Hunt, thank you. He said that creatively, what it should have been was that On Her Majesty's Secret Service should have finished with the wedding, and then Tracy being shot should have been the pre-title of the next film. And then you launch into the story that follows after the title sequence. But when it became clear that Lazenby wasn't going to do another one, they wanted to wrap the story up. So they stuck with the book, which also ends with Tracy's death. But the pre-title sequence, the 5-minute pre-title sequence of Diamonds, is the only time they give themselves to wrap that up. And it's so clumsy, and it's not worthy of the story.
No, it's bad. That I will flat out criticize the pre-title.
It's awful. Sequence. Yeah, it doesn't do. It's not worthy of the story they'd set up. It's really clumsy. It's too quick. It makes no sense. It's just odd. It's just odd.
And at no point have they given any context to why Connery is now an experienced pie eater in that one.
He's a bit larger than the last time we saw him. I mean, I know it's been a few years, but yeah, he's changed, doesn't he?
Yeah. I mean, I can't criticize. However, it is noticeable.
No, we're in no position to criticize expanding waistlines, but then we're not playing James Bond.
No, quite.
Not yet, anyway.
No.
But yeah, it's really clumsy. It's really clumsy, and that they slip in that bit about Blofeld's having plastic surgery, which explains why he looks completely different to everything, and the voice box, which explains how he's now British, whereas before he wasn't, and then I don't know.
It's very, very complicated. And now he looks remarkably, I mean, just purely coincidental, like Mr. Henderson from
You Only Live Twice. That's true. Yes. Yes.
But in the Bond world, yes, that's
the first, I believe, the first and only time we've had a villain who has previously appeared in the series as a different character.
Yeah, we've had it the other way round with
with Maud Adams.
we've had Maud Adams. Oh my goodness me! Why can I not get the words out of who I'm thinking of? Oh, it was on the tip of my tongue. Oh,
It happens.
oh, it does. It's painful. It really is absolutely painful. I'm just gonna.
I'm trying to think.
I'm going to skim the internet because I'm stuck. The other way around was Joe Don Baker, Brad Whitaker.
Quite right. Yes,
then
true. Yes,
everyone's favourite pain in the ass, Jack Wade.
Jack Wade. That's right. Whitaker, who was a poor villain anyway. Koskov was a much better villain.
He's the one you remember.
Yeah, he is. In fact, if you say who's the villain of Living Daylights, you'd say Koskov. Anyway,
sorry, the brain took a while there.
That's all right. We have Charles Gray, who I really like, but
a brilliant Blofeld.
Yeah, he is a brilliant Blofeld, but it's a weird Blofeld.
Yeah.
But yeah, the pre-title sequence, is just odd. I don't get it at all.
No, I agree. It's if we have a little bit. I know. If we touch on cars, I know we've done the Mustang to death before.
We have.
We've described in minute detail why that scene is so wrong.
The huge cock up that they made.
Yeah.
Yes. We've been through that. We don't need to talk about the whys and wherefores of that, but it is an enormous cock up.
We know that's a thing. We know he goes in one way and comes out the other way. Yes, he does. Yeah, that's spinning the film around does not make it any better.
It does not make it any better, and having it somehow flip over halfway through. I mean, if it could do that, then you wouldn't need to go up on two wheels.
Very odd. Very odd.
Well, it was a cock up, wasn't it? And that was all they could think of at the last minute to fix it.
Yeah. So that we know about that. We do have possibly our first hint of British Leyland.
Yes, Mr. Bond in a Triumph Stag.
Yeah.
Yes, large Scotsman in a tiny little sports car.
Yeah. So yes, we've touched on that before, but I got a lot of time for a Stag, and
yeah, me too.
And the fact that I don't know if we've said it on podcasts before, but we've certainly said it to one another, that some of the names or lines in this film feel like a bit of a stitch up.
No, definitely. Somebody was having.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it. Yeah, you go, all right, Connery, you're going to walk away from this. We're going to make you look like a laughingstock because.
Yeah. I think there was a bit of that going on.
Oh, my name's Peter Franks.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, very good.
Tiffany Cash.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, and everyone's favourite diamond.
Oh, the Akbar Shah. There's no other reason for that. There really isn't.
No, that was a writer with the two fingers up going, I could have picked any other name, but I chose that one. Scottish dick.
I think Harry Saltzman might have had a hand in that, because as we know, him and Connery despised each other by this stage. And he was not in favour of Connery coming back. He thought it was a colossal mistake. But I wonder if he had a word with either Maybaum or Mankiewicz and said, can we have a little look at some of these lines and can we have some more S's in here somehow?
Yes, let's have a bit of fun.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure there was a bit of that going on because it's all over the movie.
And even as a youth, it made me laugh.
Yeah.
Because it's so blatantly obvious that a child in single figures can go, they're making the man with the funny accent say funny words.
Yes.
Yes.
They are.
Yeah.
They absolutely are. It's all the way through the middle, like you say, with Peter Franks. And well, it's just all of it, isn't it?
Yeah. So
it's everywhere.
You've got creative license to give anyone any name, but it's very deliberate. It's ridiculous.
No, I think it is.
But it's something about the accents in that film, because you've got Connery with his very distinctive one. Charles Gray with possibly the most thespian accent known to man.
Enormously.
I know he's a very talented actor, and I know he's done Shakespeare because I've seen him do.
Yes, he has.
He's played Julius Caesar and such.
Yeah.
Like he's very,
very, very good.
very classically trained.
Yes,
but that does come through quite heavily. But then you've got what's his chops as once we get to America and we get unveiled. Jimmy Dean as Willard White.
Oh well, he was wonderful. Yeah,
he was great. But my goodness me, the accent. It's off the charts.
Yeah, but he does talk like we did. He did talk like that.
Yeah. I know he's not putting it on, but
no, that is his real voice.
It seems ridiculous when you think about it. You don't go around talking like that, do you?
But he did.
Yes.
He made a lot of money advertising sausages out of it.
Oh God, I'd forgotten about that.
That was his business. He was the sausage king.
That was
not
it.
Like that.
Oh
no, that
right now that is the name of the episode.
He was the sausage king. He was. Oh, we haven't even got on to Winton Kid yet. Oh dear. But yeah. Whatever melts your butter suits me, I believe, was his advertising slogan.
Yes, I'd forgotten all about that.
He made a lot of money out of the sausage business. So. Not as much as Winton Kid, perhaps. Anyway, if I may, you mentioned the Akbar Shah there.
Yeah.
I'd like to just talk about that little scene between Bond and M as they wait to go in to see Sir Donald. M's very thinly disguised hatred for his star agent here is enormous.
Yeah, you can't miss it, can you?
But you look at that, and he's having a go at him and saying, "May I remind you that Blofeld's dead," and all of that. The least we can expect out of you now is plain, solid work and all of that stuff. You think, well, his wife has just been murdered. You want to cut him a break here? I mean, come on. Jesus.
He's not fussed, is he?
No, it's like, you might want to cut him a little bit of slack. But it depends how you watch it, I suppose. If you ignore Secret Service and it's just You Only Live Twice straight to diamonds, and he's been off for years tracking Blofeld down all over the world, not telling them where he is, messing around, fair enough, perhaps. But if you look at it in terms of, a year or so after On Her Majesty's Secret Service, you kind of think, that's a bit harsh.
Yeah.
He has just lost his wife. Come on.
You're never going to get any compassion from him, though, I'm afraid, eh?
No.
It's because
it's a strange scene. And there's so many in-jokes in it, we do function in your absence, Commander, and all of that stuff.
Yeah, we have all of that nonsense. Then there's... What's he on? Oh, it's about the sherry, isn't it? Where pity about your liver share, and then on the unusually fine Shalera again.
Yeah. Perfect.
What was it? 51, I believe.
1851. Yes, indeed.
There is no for sherry 007.
Referring to the original vintage on which the sherry is based. How many S words can you get in one sentence? They've been up all night working that out.
That's. I mean, his contempt for him is very consistent.
Is enormous, and again, I wonder if that's coming from, Harry, who will have had that stuff put in there. I'm sure. We need to, really make this uncomfortable. But a little note in that sequence as well. Lawrence Naismith, who plays Sir Donald, is also the judge in The Persuaders, and it's actually the same year of this film.
Oh, okay.
Because The Persuaders was, I believe, 71 and 72. So
There you go.
he would have been filming the first series of Persuaders at the same time as Diamonds was being made. So
No, good. Nice little fact.
So there we go. Yeah, indeed. A little double bond there.
Yes.
Yes.
That's good
But
stuff.
That scene is quite... there's a lot of exposition in that scene where it explains the whole South African diamond industry and the fact that they've got this problem, that there's people been smuggling them, and that's quite good. That's quite a nice bit of storytelling, I thought. Sets it up quite well. It's quite realistic, the diamond smuggling, although again, as Connery says, really necessary to bring in our department on a smuggling matter. Simple smuggling matter. In fact,
was it. Yes.
Yes.
I think you're right. I think it is a really good bit of storytelling there, because
it sets it up really well.
Yeah, and it's done nicely, and it's, like you say, it's believable. You can envisage that happening. Yeah,
and it also introduces a number of characters during, whilst he's explaining things, and we have the little kind of cutaway scenes. We meet the dentist in South Africa. We meet Wint and Kid. We meet the old lady in Amsterdam. And we set up, the whole kind of front line of the organization.
Yes, we do. We've mentioned them a couple of times now. Mr. Wint and Mr. Kidd.
Yes.
The two weirdest henchmen we have ever contended with.
Very strange, aren't they? Really weird.
Which it is, and that was a bold move for 71.
Yeah, I quite like how they handle them, because and I've seen a Bruce Glover who played Mr. Wint say this in an interview, in that they didn't make a lot of effort to be overtly gay. They just you see them holding hands the first time and they walk off into the sunset holding hands. So that establishes that they're a gay couple. So, and he said, you don't have to act overtly gay. If the audience knows you are, that's all that's necessary. And I thought they handled that quite well, because particularly it would be very easy to look back on that now and think it's horrific. But actually, I thought they handled it quite well. Yes, they're a gay couple. We know they're gay. That's just, they're not doing overtly gay things. They're not massively camp. They don't dress particularly flamboyantly or anything like they might have had them do. They're gay, and that's kind of all that's necessary.
Yeah, that's fair.
It was quite a forward-looking way of dealing with
it. Yeah, I'd go with that.
Yeah,
that's probably to be admired for the time, I would say.
Yeah, as I say, they could have very easily got that wrong and made them very stereotypically gay. As I say, flamboyant dress or being incredibly camp or whatever, but they don't do any of that. You just, you see them holding hands, they're gay. That's the only mention we're going to make of it.
Yeah, but they get the same daft lines as everyone else, don't they?
Yes, they do. Yes.
Bitten by the bug. What's he on about, man?
Yes, some of their lines. Oh, the talk about cliches. Yeah. When they've got Connery in the coffin and they're sending him in for cremation.
Oh, yeah.
It's very moving. What? A glowing tribute, Mr. Kidd.
Oh, it's weird. Really weird.
Very strange. But with those two though, they're supposed to be weird and uncomfortable. That's the point.
Yeah, that is on purpose, and it works well, because you look at them and go, well, you do. Are they a bit daft? But then you go, well, actually, their weirdness makes them quite sinister.
Yeah, they are quite creepy, aren't they? They are going around killing people. They're not just...
And it doesn't faze them in the slightest.
No, not at all.
No, that's
Not
it.
at all.
They drown the old deer, and then they go, "Oh, we must take some photos for the children again." You don't go near the children.
Oh, no.
Not safe.
How kind of you, Mr. Kidd. Yes. No.
The children.
Amsterdam children. It's no.
No.
But they also the scene with the scene with the dentist in, well, it was shot in the desert outside Las Vegas, but it was doubling for South Africa, where they kill him with the scorpion. They actually toned that scene down. Originally, they jammed the scorpion into his mouth.
Oh.
But
that is jazzy for a Bond film.
Yeah, they felt that was a bit too strong, so they had him drop it down his neck instead. Down his back of his shirt, and that was enough. But originally, when he opened his mouth to, being a dentist, to now open wide, and he would jam the scorpion into his mouth. But they thought, and the tail was sticking out, and they thought that was a bit too much.
That is, that would have been overkill for that particular era of film, I think.
But that shows the kind of the extreme nature that they had written for those characters, that they actually had to, when they came to film it, they had to tone it down because they thought, well, actually, now looking at it, that's a bit much.
Yeah.
But they are kind of unique.
They are
in the Bond series. There's nobody else quite like them.
Mr. Wint was a big fan of cologne, shall we say?
Yes, he was.
Yeah. Well, one of us smells like a tarts handkerchief.
Indeed.
Well, I'm afraid it's me. Sorry, old boy.
Sorry about that, old boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
I've smelt out aftershave before, and both times I've smelt a rat.
So there's some more of the Connery lines right there.
He's constantly dousing himself, isn't he, all the way through the film. We suspect Mr. Kidd is probably bi, because he makes some comments about Tiffany, doesn't he?
Yes, and Mr. Wint is not amused.
He's not amused. She's most attractive for a lady.
Ha ha ha. No,
Yes.
he's not in a laughing mood.
No.
That's it. No, you got to keep the thoughts to yourself there.
Yeah, don't be sharing that.
That's
they are a peculiar couple. But as you say, it works because they're deliberately peculiar. They're really quite creepy.
And I think we've mentioned it before, because we can make a very tenuous link back to the Future, can't we? Via Bruce Glover.
We can. Yes, you're right. Yes, because you're right.
His son, Crispin Glover, was in.
He's in the first one.
In the first one as George McFly.
George McFly. He was not in the second.
No.
Because of some huge falling out with the producers.
Yes. Without going too far on a tangent, the big fallout was he considered himself to be the main star of the film and not Marty.
Yes, that's right. He was star of the film, not Michael J. Fox, as it turned out, or Christopher Lloyd. No, it was him. Yes.
Which all you have to do is watch the film and realise it's not the case, man.
It's not really the case. No, you don't even appear until halfway through.
Yes,
but he wanted a huge amount of money to come back and do number 2, and they basically said no.
And unfortunate for him, when that happened, no one even noticed it wasn't the same actor.
No, it didn't.
I mean, I feel bad for the chap, but absolutely no one noticed. If you'd have polled anyone after they left the cinema, it was the same bloke.
Yeah, you would have. That's right. He was replaced. Nobody could tell. Like you say, poor chap, but he did ask for it.
Yeah, not so good. But
no, he got a bit up himself after the success of Back to the Future. Yeah,
Yeah.
but however, that was nothing to do with his father.
I'm just going to say, sorry about that. We've digressed on
No, it's a nice,
it's a
lovely
film series.
It's a lovely link. It's a lovely link. Yes, you're quite right. It's the same family, but yes.
Okay. A character we are very familiar with, Felix.
Yeah, he's kind of something and nothing in there.
I am going to go out on a limb and say the most underwhelming of Felix's appearances in the series.
Yeah. He's not really necessary.
No, it almost felt like it was obliged because they were in America.
Yeah, you've got to have CIA involved, so it's got to be Felix. But they get an actor who doesn't have a lot of presence, and he's just given kind of bland lines. He doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, he's forgettable because you could rewatch that film as we've done and go, oh yeah, he was in it, wasn't he?
Well, when you mentioned it just then, you said, Felix. Is it Felix? Oh yeah, there is, isn't there?
Yeah.
I nearly forgot. Yes.
Yeah.
Have a friend named Felix who can fix anything.
Yeah. But
yeah,
it's
very forgettable, Felix. I don't know the actor's name.
Norman Burton.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Yeah.
But yes, something and nothing all in one go.
Yeah.
Not so great. It just, I mean, as we've said, it's like, he obliged because it was in America and go. I mean, it is, as we've said, it is incredibly American.
It is incredibly American, and that was originally a deliberate effort because it was going to be an American actor. Then obviously Connery came back and they had to change it a bit. But yes, it is a very possibly the most American film until we get to License to Kill, I would say.
Yeah, that's American in a different way, isn't it?
Yes.
That doesn't feel anywhere near as forced as this one.
No, it doesn't. And License to Kill feels a little bit cheap, whereas Diamonds doesn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do. And I think when it comes to License to Kill, I think the setting it in America is absolutely pivotal to the drug element of that story.
Well, it is. And of course it goes down into Mexico and
which is great. And I don't have an issue. It doesn't feel forced. Like you say, it does feel a bit cheap in comparison, but
yeah.
It
doesn't feel as forced as this. No.
No.
And the whole Blofeld, Willard White, it's really supposed to be Howard Hughes and, all
yes,
that
of course.
stuff. Yeah. Which was a story apparently Cubby came up because he was friends with Howard Hughes, of course.
He was mates with everyone, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that's probably why he was so successful, because apparently Howard Hughes said, oh, Cubby's coming to my city. So, he sent the word out to all his hotels, casinos and restaurants and basically Cubby Broccoli is to be given everything he wants.
We touched on something though. One thing he wasn't given was closed streets in Las Vegas.
Well, you can't, can you? You can't close down the strip in Las Vegas.
No, you can't. So that's why when they're having the chase in the Mustang again, you've got lined streets, because obviously everyone in Las Vegas knows this chase is coming.
Yeah, everyone knows there's a Bond film in town.
Yes. And they're filming, so go and line the streets.
Everyone lined up like 6 deep, just staring out into the road so naturally. And
that's what happens.
I know it'd be busy, but even so. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but there was just nothing they could do about it. I don't think. It was just overwhelming. But yes, it was Cubby's idea that he'd come up with this concept where he'd gone to see Howard Hughes up in the penthouse where he was living at the time at the Desert Inn, and he'd gone in, and Hughes had turned around, and it was a total stranger. It wasn't him. And that was the concept he came up with, where there's this guy who's been kidnapped, taken hostage, but nobody's seen him for years anyway, and he's up in this penthouse, and everything else just continues as if nothing has changed.
Damn thing runs itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a splendid administrator.
But
that actually, again, is quite a strong plot point. I quite like that. The concept of the billionaire being replaced with somebody else, but because nobody ever sees him, nobody realizes, and the organization can be subverted, if you like, to do other things. I quite like that. That's quite a good concept, quite a good idea.
And again, with a lot of things that come up in this storyline, quite believable.
Yeah, absolutely. The story is quite believable. The underlying story is good. It's all the other stuff they load on top of it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's frustrating, actually, is what it is.
We should touch on Tiffany, not like that.
Well, there's a line that would not get through censorship these days. In and around her introduction.
Yes.
Yes, that's not appropriate for this era of cinema, but as long as the collar and cuffs match.
Collars and cuffs match.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Oh no.
I mean, even at the time, you look and go, "Oh my Christ!"
Oh, that's a bit near, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredibly strong character.
Yeah, very. Yeah, good.
Not
Jill St. John's very good in the role.
Would not take any shit, and that's
no.
Yeah.
She's on top of the situation. Yeah, very strong character. Very strong actress. Worked very well with Connery, although if rumours are to believe, they were having it away during the film. I
know that one.
Yeah, well, and he apparently with Lana Wood as well, but that's
named after your father, perhaps.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, all of that.
All of that. Yes, apparently he was. Connery was quite busy during the months of shooting.
I see. But flitting between dressing rooms as his.
That is the rumor.
Desired.
That is the rumor. Yes, but of course, Jill St. John also dated Henry Kissinger. She also famously dated John DeLorean for a while. So
I've seen the odd photo actually. Yes.
Yeah, there are pictures of them together. Yeah, of her and Kissinger and her and DeLorean. So I see another link back to the Future.
Oh, we're all over this.
Oh, we're just tying up knots all over the place. Apparently Connery was quite active on the set. Let's put it like that.
Oh dear, putting it about a bit. Good God.
Yeah, well, he was not there for the right reasons, shall we say?
I tell you what, I've clicked on the internet.
You've been on the internet,
and I found a big old list.
Right.
Between marriages, St. John dated entertainment, sports, and political personalities, including. I'm not going to do all of them, but my goodness me. As you've mentioned, Mr. Connery.
Yes.
Michael Caine, Henry Kissinger.
Yeah.
David Frost, Bill Hudson, George Lazenby, Jack Nicholson.
Really? Blimey.
Oh, there's a brave one. Roman Polanski. I'm saying nothing.
Yeah.
Tom Selleck, Robert Vaughn, Adam West.
All of them. Blimey.
I'm mainly reading out the headline ones here, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Truth.
She was. I say was. She's not dead. I'm doing
Jill,
the poor lady.
Jill St. John is still with us. Yes.
No. I apologise profusely. She seems to be quite hungry for a bit of power there. I'd say. I think that would be.
Yeah.
She knows how to get what she wants. I don't think that her character in Diamonds is too far removed from possibly her actual.
Well, she does. She follows the power in the story, doesn't she? She will ally herself with whoever seems to be ahead at the time.
This is. I happen to be on this and going. Someone's made a nice summary actually, which is very interesting. Right? The character Tiffany is argumentative, abrasive, loud, and brash when compared to previous Bond girls who are demure.
She's also the first American Bond girl.
Yeah, I suppose so. Actually,
she is. Yeah.
There's a lot of firsts going on there in that film.
We should. Yeah, but she's a really character.
I think she's brilliant.
A lot of time for Tiffany. Yeah.
It was a good character, well executed.
A fingerprint analyzer could do with some work, but it was 1971.
Yeah, come on, yeah, but it's technology moves on. It's fine.
Yeah, but in the previous time we saw Mr. Connery, he had that little pocket-sized safe cracker, and now she needs a whole half of a bedroom to analyze a fingerprint.
Yeah, but he's got MI6. He hasn't.
Oh, that's true. He's probably working with a different budget.
Yeah, I was going to say she's got to buy off the shelf.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. You're never getting that on a shelf. It's a wardrobe.
It's a strong shelf required if you're going to do it.
Yes.
But that's a valid point. I'd forgotten about a ridiculous machine, but yeah,
it's great. It doesn't fool Bond, of course, because he smells the stuff on the glass
and has a little snigger, and he's already applied Peter Frank's fingerprints. So it's fine.
Quite ingenious. And that's where we see the DBS in the background.
Oh yeah, we get the arse end of that in
the only link between this film and On Her Majesty's Secret Service is the car.
Yeah,
that is the only reference to the previous film. Is the fact that car is in Q's lab. So
that's it. So that is them. Well, it's not strictly acknowledging that it's definitely a follow-on, but you can't really argue at that point, can you?
It is that car, though, isn't it? It's it's the same color and everything.
Yeah.
And I know it was Aston Martin's current model. But nevertheless,
but still, there was no reason for it to be there other than on purpose.
No, quite. They've set that scene up, haven't they? I mean, they've built the set and decided what to put in it. Yeah. So that is the only thing that suggests this does indeed follow on from On Her Majesty's, rather than skipping over it and it follows on from You Only Live Twice.
Yep.
Which is quite tenuous, but I'm sticking with it.
That's fair.
And it's nice that it's a car. It's nice that it's a car, Link, and one of our favourite cars.
That fits quite nicely for us. That's a bonus for what
we don't see Mr. Connery driving it. Unfortunately, he uses Stag, but that makes sense as well because he's undercover.
Yeah, that's it. We get he pilots that and the Mustang, and that's kind of a lot, really. Oh, and a moon buggy.
Oh God, the moon buggy.
Can't forget the moon buggy, and then the moon buggy where is there you go. When it pans out, you go, oh, that wheel appears to have come off. That's good.
That only a visible widescreen film, but that's what everyone's got these days. But yeah, they had a lot of trouble with it. Kept coming off.
So that's not great.
Mind you, the cars they're chasing him in seem to be quite ready to fall to pieces at the drop of a hat. So
yeah, that's not a good advert for American vehicles, is it?
I believe they're Ford. I mean, there's a lot of Ford in this film.
Yeah,
a lot of Ford.
That some may say on purpose.
No, surely not. It's better than the AMC in
Yeah,
hand job done.
at least the Fords are meant to be there.
Yes, at least it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Fords in
right.
America, yes.
Yes, Las Vegas police using Fords. Surely not.
Oh, dearie me.
I would like to step back a moment, if I may.
Yeah.
I think we need to discuss. We need to go back to Amsterdam, and we need to discuss the fight in the lift.
Okay.
Because
Please go ahead.
I think it's brilliant.
It's reminiscent of sort of proper spy shenanigans.
I think I'd go so far as to say it's reminiscent of the fight on the Orient Express in From Russia with Love.
Yeah.
I think it's really well worked. And now the guy playing Peter Franks, I forget his name, but he was one of the stuntmen on the movie, and him and Sean worked out that fight themselves. And Guy Hamilton really liked it because there was all the smashing glass, and they had no room to move, and they were, really in that tight space, and they could get the camera in close on them. And I think it makes for a really good fight sequence.
Yeah, but really good. It's just no messing about. It's just hand to hand.
Yeah,
proper.
No gadgets, just going for it.
That's it. Who is your floor? Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
How you speak English? What, are you Manuel?
Yeah.
He's carrying his bags.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Piggy on. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And then does him in with a fire extinguisher. I think it's one of the strongest sequences of the film, actually.
Yep. Sold.
Yeah.
So I know we're jumping around all over the place, but I don't really care.
Yeah.
I know we've had this conversation, but not on air. But we must. Hello, what the hell was that?
I think Sam was having a bath. You might have to put up with his singing.
That's all right. That's fine. I don't mind a little interlude there. That's just
he's wanted to be on the podcast for quite a long time. So,
you can let him know he succeeded this evening.
Yeah, he's in.
Excellent. No, my one was Willard White's Kazi.
Oh, that's what I started with.
It is.
Howdy, welcome, son. We've been expecting. You got any personal business to take care of in there? You go right ahead.
Yes.
Well, that's not all creepy, is it?
It's not.
And I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, that's the issue of going, right, you've got CCTV staring at whoever is on the can, so to speak. Yes.
That's very strange. He is slightly lavatory obsessed, isn't he? Because when we first meet him for real, he's on the throne. Yeah. And then later on, when they get back to what is presumably his office, the penthouse, he's off for a quick flush as well.
Yeah, he does have an obsession with the toilet.
He does. He's your kind of bloke.
Yeah, I mean, I can only dream of a toilet that well appointed.
It is very well, as we've said before. On the podcast, I think we might have been having one of our strange conversations off air, but it swivels. The engineering that's gone into that is most impressive.
Yeah, because I mean, you don't want that to be leaking.
No. You need a tight seal on that.
Yeah, you don't want any of that escaping. No. But I mean, it's not only to quote Partridge, it's not only a Buck Rogers toilet. It's it's all the gadgets in there. We've got telephones, lots of TVs. You're going, you are spending a lot of time in here.
Oh, he can run his organisation from in there. Yeah, absolutely. He's got it all laid out, hasn't he? All the phones. I believe some clocks on the wall as well with different time zones and things. It's all going on in there.
I mean, that's weird, isn't it? To really timestamp your turd.
Yeah, in different zones.
Yeah.
Yes.
In Asia, I had splashdown at 9 p.m.
Yes.
It's just weird.
Just let it go in time for the markets to open.
Yeah, that's it.
in London.
Yeah, I don't get it. I really don't. Yeah, so
He is bog obsessed.
he is. Yeah, I'd forgotten that his appearance is coming out of the toilet.
It's the first time we see him. You hear the flush.
That's it. FBI,
CIA.
Yeah. Just and of course as well. We shouldn't gloss over Bambi and Thumper.
We shouldn't. No, or indeed Mr. Connery's outfit.
Oh, yes.
They've given him a child's tie because it only comes halfway down his front. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, now you say it. Yeah,
it's about 6 inches wide. I mean, I know it was the 70s, but nevertheless, it's bright pink. Now, I haven't got a problem with pink. I have some pink stuff.
Yeah,
but if they could have made it a bit longer. Well, no,
yeah,
come unstuck with that. But
but it is weird.
It's a very strange outfit.
Yeah, now you.
He has a lot of trouble with the turn-back cuffs in this, flapping about all over them.
Well, because I mean, I know that they end up in the pool and whatever, but they are flapping about before they've even.
Yeah, he has a lot of trouble with the turn-back cuffs. They haven't starched them enough. It's not good.
No, that's fair. So we've got his.
But yes, Bambi and Thumper, you're quite right. Good fight sequence, actually. Good fight sequence with them.
Yeah, those two are not messing.
No, they really kick the out of him.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I know that Bond must prevail, but in all fairness, they would have won in the real
world. They were
there.
winning. I mean, they threw him in the pool and they were holding him down. It wasn't until he mysteriously popped up again that all was well.
Yeah, that's it. I'm glossing over your choice of phrase.
I think you should.
Yeah. I don't have a huge amount of more notes, but one thing that I do have is obviously we end up with Willard White's help trying to pin down Blofeld's location.
Yes.
I don't have anything to buy. Do you not? Oh, okay. I think we may have found him, you know.
Yeah, that.
So off we pop.
We didn't even mention wrong pussy.
Oh, God.
Let's not sink to that. Let's not.
Well, now I've just got the conundrum of what to name the episode. Or is it going to be Sausage King or is it going to be Wrong Pussy? We just don't know.
We'll wait and see, shall we?
See how the mood takes me.
Everyone listening to this will already know it'll be there. But yes, I wouldn't like to bet which way you're going to go on that.
But I mean, if you've not read the synopsis, when you read the title, you're going to go, "You what?" And you go, "Oh, it's a Bond film review, obviously."
Obviously.
For goodness sake. Yes, so they pin him down to an oil rig, basically.
They do.
And it's again a bit odd in terms of a sequence.
Well, when you consider the last base that Blofeld had, the hollowed out, I suppose it depends how you look at it. It's either the hollowed out volcano or the Alpine. What's it in on Her Majesty's Secret Service? But both deeply impressive locations.
Oh yeah,
feats of engineering, both of them. I mean, one of them's real, the other one isn't. Work out which is which. But
no one's ever gone up a mountain.
No, it's just impossible.
But then you go, we just might as well do an oil rig.
It's a slightly knackered oil rig because it was a disused oil rig that they hired. There's another cock up in this sequence. I don't know if you know about it, but it doesn't show.
No, go on, explain, because I'm not sure I know this one.
When they attack it and they start firing the missiles at it and stuff, explosions start to go off, and hilarity ensues.
Oh yeah,
and all the helicopters are buzzing around it. They were going to have a Guy Hamilton, the director, wanted a camera. He wanted to make sure they got everything set right. So they were going to fly the helicopters in. Everybody was going to be in position, but they weren't going to set the explosions off. They were just going to get all the camera angles right and make sure they've got it.
Right.
The assistant director got a bit confused, and for the run through, for the rehearsal, started setting off the explosions.
Oh dear.
Now, fortunately, one of the cameramen up in the helicopters realized what was happening and fortunately had film in the camera and started shooting. And most of the shots, the aerial shots of the oil rig from a distance with the explosions going off, are from that rehearsal take.
That's quite interesting.
Shot by one camera because the cameraman realized, oh, this isn't supposed to be happening, but perhaps I'd better film it.
That's very astute. I admire that. I'd never really noticed.
Well, you can't tell because it's shot. It was shot properly. He was ready to film.
Well,
but
that's
it was a rehearsal, and the explosions weren't supposed to be going off, which is why some of those shots are slightly shaky and from a funny angle. And it's because he was just filming whatever he could as the helicopter flew round and round the oil rig.
Oh, fair play. But
Apparently, Guy Hamilton, who was legendarily calm, was absolutely just.
Did he lose his shit?
Apparently so. Yes.
Oh dear.
But fortunately, they only had one chance. I mean, the insurance to shoot on an oil rig was off the charts. They only had a certain amount of time. They only had, so much explosive they could do, but they managed to make it work. And fortunately, they got a load of footage of the stuff going off. Yeah, so they made it work. But that was another cock up.
One thing that really gets on my tits with that is when they're on the oil rig and over the address system you have that announcer with that voice,
the monotone.
Yes.
It's bad, isn't it?
It's just
we want you to take all emotion out of your performance.
Replace it with nothing but volume.
Yeah, it's really odd, isn't it? Maybe it's supposed to be. I don't know. This is another film, a bit like Man with the Golden Gun, that isn't quite sure what it's trying to be.
Well, the only thing this wanted to be was lucrative.
Yeah, well, that's true. Got to pay his bill. Yeah.
But yeah, it really gets on your wick when you're trying to watch it because that is consistent for quite a long period of time in the background.
5 minutes and counting.
And it feels like he's counting every single second.
He's really going for it. Yes. And he keeps doing it even when the whole thing's exploding. You still hear him going. Yeah,
it's collapsing around his ears. Other people are legging it, and he's going, no.
Yeah, he's sat there. His hair's on fire. Well, he hasn't got any hair. But his desk's on fire, but he's still going.
It's weird.
He's dedicated. You give him that. He's the one member of Spectre who seems to know what he's doing.
Yeah. All he's got to do is count, and he's on it.
He is doing it well. Yes.
But, I mean, there's one thing as well we probably should factor in. You're going, it's the last appearance of Blofeld, really, isn't it? In the grand scheme of things.
For a long time. Yeah, for a long time.
I mean, because I know we've got the scene in For Your Eyes Only, but even that is only an assumption and it was never named.
No, never named, and it's pretty tenuous, isn't it? It's just a kind of funny pre-title sequence. It doesn't have anything to do with the story of the film.
No, and we have to get all the way back to Daniel Craig, really, which is a
We
completely
do.
different incarnation.
Yeah, Charles Gray was the last appearance of Blofeld for decades. Yeah,
And
that's a good point.
It really wasn't a brilliant end.
Not at all. No, not at all. He's bouncing around on the end of a rope in a submarine thing.
A proper poncy little submarine thing as well.
Oh, isn't it? Isn't it?
That is.
It's really, yes.
It's like,
although again, the slapstick scene, like we had, the kind of Dukes of Hazzard slapstick with the police cars in Las Vegas. We've got the slapstick with him dangling around on the end of a chain in his little submarine. It's just
not very good.
I said lower, not up.
All of that.
All of that. Yes.
It's just when that film came out, if that was known to be the last bit of Blofeld, people would have been really pissed.
I think they would have been annoyed by that, yeah, because Blofeld doesn't appear, other than for Your Eyes Only, doesn't appear in the Roger Moore era at all.
No.
Doesn't appear in either of Dalton's films, doesn't appear in Brosnan's films.
No.
He is gone for decades. And when did we last see him? Dangling around in a poncy little submarine on the end of a chain. Did Bond kill him? Well, no, he didn't, as we later find out. But, I mean, yeah, what happened to him? He's just gone.
No, and, I mean, I know we've discussed it before as well. Even when he reappears in the Craig era, they just go underutilized.
Oh, completely. Yeah.
The closest we ever got to having any sort of depth on him was on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Telly Savalas, yeah. I was going to say, Blofeld, it's clearly Telly Savalas. He does have some depth to him in that film. There's some background to him.
Yeah.
You even learn a little bit about his family and where he came from, and yeah, you really get to know the character a bit more. And it's so lightweight in this film. I mean, the whole film is lightweight, isn't it? But
yeah.
And that's no disrespect to Charles Gray.
No,
it just isn't much there.
No, there's not a lot to work with, but that's fine. I mean, he does a reasonable performance, which is good, but it's like you say, it's not his fault.
It's quite amusing. The scenes with him on the oil rig, amusing, but they're no more than amusing. So sorry to have ruined the line of your suit for nothing. And all of that.
Oh, yes. Mr. Case, you're saying a little more cheek than usual.
Yes. He's so downplaying it, isn't he?
However, I think both you and I would unanimously agree it is right up there with one of the good ones.
I really like it, despite all its faults and strangeness and it being a bit lightweight. I really like it, and it's a film I will often go to.
Yeah. You could pick it up out of nowhere. It's a good one. It really is, and
it is a good one. It stands on its own. Yes, it's weak following on Her Majesty's Secret Service, but you sort of just accept that now. The series was all over the place. They didn't really know what they were doing with it.
No.
And on Her Majesty's Secret Service stands alone. And I think Diamonds stands alone, really. It's completely different to what came before it. And it's quite different to what followed it. I mean, James Bond will return in Live and Let Die. But Live and Let Die is very different. Although Live and Let Die is more American in parts, it just fits with Roger Moore's style more.
Yeah. Massively.
Whereas with this, it just doesn't work as well. But having said all that, I do really like it.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I will often go to it. No, it doesn't.
No, so there we go. So we're going to say that we'll give this one a thumbs up and go, right, well, if you're going to watch something, please do.
You'll be fine with this one. Just don't look too deep.
No, don't be dwelling. Right. Where are we going next?
Well, we did touch on this, didn't we? I think we said For Your Eyes Only.
I think we did, and I think that's a very good choice. Yes, because we said that. I think you beat me to a suggestion with Fiora's only, which I'm not going to argue with in the slightest.
I think it was my suggestion on this occasion, yeah.
And I think I know what I'd like to do following that. So.
Oh, right. Good.
Okay, so yeah, we'll reconvene in this particular series of episodes with a bit of Roger Moore then.
Yes, I think so. We have done some Mr. Moore, but we'll come back with a later one.
Yeah, yes, let's do it. But yes, but please go and spend your upcoming weekend with a bit of Diamonds Are Forever.
There's just one last thing to clear up, really.
Oh yes, go. Please do.
How the hell do we get those diamonds down again?
Well, I think that's probably enough of that for this week. Check us out on all the various social medias and things. Thank you very much for listening.